Okay, so are you ready to totally dive into the world of entertainment journalism?
Yeah.
Get ready for an all access pass because we're going deep on what it really takes to make it as an entertainment journalist today.
And we've got the inside scoop using RoleCatcher.com's in-depth career guide,
They've got everything.
from interview prep to
Get this.
AI insight.
This is just like next level stuff, really.
You know what I think is so fascinating about this guide? It's how it really digs into the media scene, how much it's changed.
Yeah.
It's not your grandma's newsroom anymore. Like understanding how a TikTok can influence a film's success, that's just as important as writing an amazing review now.
It's true, and they even have a whole section on using AI to analyze job descriptions to help tailor your resume.
Yeah,
It's like having a secret weapon.
it's pretty wild, right? It really makes you think, like, what skills do you even need to stand out to an AI, This guide really emphasizes things like, obviously, strong interviewing, but critical thinking and even social perceptiveness.
Mhm.
It's like you're not just reporting on entertainment, you're dissecting it, understanding the why behind the what.
And speaking of dissecting things, have you gotten to the networking section yet?
Oh, yeah.
It blew my mind. Apparently, building relationships with everyone,
Oh,
from artists to publicists, is huge in this field. It's not even just about what you know anymore, it's who you know.
it's so true that.
It's like they always say, it's all about who you know.
But even if you snag that dream job, it's not all, red carpets and champagne.
Right.
This guide is very upfront about the tough stuff, long hours, the pressure to constantly be in the loop and meeting those deadlines. It's a lot.
It's intense.
It seems like this career is fueled by pure passion because it demands a lot.
It does, but then you see the potential perks.
Right.
Travel, being able to shape public opinion,
Yeah,
and maybe even interviewing your favorite celebrity.
of course.
Plus, imagine all the stories you'd be able to tell.
Oh, I know.
It's like living in a movie.
It is. It's that balance, though,
Yeah.
right? This guide really emphasizes that.
Yeah.
The crazy demands and the amazing opportunities. As we're looking at this overview, what's jumping out at you?
Honestly, for me, it's the blend of those classic journalism skills with
Yeah.
this constantly shifting digital world. It's
Oh,
so different.
It's true. This is not your grandparents' newsroom.
Oh, no.
This guide gives a really solid foundation, but it also really stresses continuous learning, being able to adapt, pick up new skills, and practically become one with all the trends.
Yeah, you have to.
It's like riding a wave. You either stay ahead of it or
You wipe out.
you wipe out.
Speaking of staying ahead, how does someone even start navigating this world?
That's a good question.
It seems like you need a map
Yeah.
just to figure out the first step.
Well, that's what's so great about this guide. It's not just about the what of this career, it's the how. They actually break down those actionable steps that you can take,
Right.
which is really refreshing.
Yeah. One of the first things they emphasize is getting that hands-on experience.
For sure.
Internships, freelance writing, even starting your own blog
Totally.
or YouTube channel to kind of showcase your skill.
Absolutely.
It's like they're saying, don't just talk about it, be about it.
Yes, 100%.
But they also talk about education, although they acknowledge there's not a one-size-fits-all degree for this.
Right.
You don't need a specific degree, but having a background in, journalism, communications, maybe even film studies
Yeah.
could be really helpful.
Having that foundation.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you think about it. It equips you with the fundamentals of writing, researching, understanding media law and ethics. All those crucial tools.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
They even list specific areas of study that could be surprisingly useful, like theater arts, sociology, even broadcasting.
Yeah. Which all kind of ties back to understanding how stories are told, how we behave as humans, and how those things intertwine with entertainment.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They also highlight some skills that I thought were interesting, like active listening, critical thinking, and even reading comprehension.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew being a bookworm could be such a valuable asset?
Exactly. And let's not forget social perceptiveness.
Yeah, why is that so important for somebody who wants to, write about movies and music?
Well, think about it. You're interviewing celebrities,
Ugh.
navigating that world, the world of show business, being able to read between the lines, understand people's motivations, and connect with them on a deeper level.
That's true. It's not just about asking the questions, it's understanding the answers.
Exactly.
They talk about how you have to stay updated on all the latest trends, too.
Well, yeah,
Which, in this world, it changes so fast.
all the time, yeah. Basically, they suggest following all the industry blogs and websites, attending conferences, scrolling through social media, basically immersing yourself in all things entertainment.
You got to be in it to win it.
Exactly. You can't be a credible voice if you're stuck in yesterday's news cycle.
Okay, so speaking of being credible, let's talk about actually landing the job in this crazy competitive world. I mean, we talked about the skills, the experience, the importance of networking,
Mhm.
but how do you actually go from aspiring journalist to having your byline out there?
Well, remember how we mentioned RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you about the job, they help you with the job hunt? That's where these interview prep tools come in.
Oh, yeah. What kind of questions should someone be prepared for?
So they've got this massive database. It's over 120,000 interview questions that are tailored to different fields,
Wow.
including entertainment journalism.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. Yeah.
120,000.
I know, but they cover everything. Common questions about your experience, your knowledge of the industry, and then you have those curveball questions that are designed to see how you think on your feet.
Give me an example. What kind of curveball are we talking about?
So they might ask about a tough story that you covered, maybe how you handle criticism, or even how you navigate relationships with your sources. It's like a whole other level,
It is. It's about showcasing your skills, your resilience, your personality, your ability to navigate this world.
which can be unpredictable,
Totally.
especially in entertainment.
It's like they're not just evaluating your ability to write about it, but to handle it.
Right.
And here's the best part. They don't just give you the questions. They provide insights into what those interviewers are actually looking for, common pitfalls to avoid.
It's like having a personal career coach in your back pocket.
It really is. And if that wasn't enough, they even have this AI-powered practice tool where you can record yourself answering these questions, get feedback, and get personalized suggestions.
Wow, that's next level. It's like having a crystal ball that tells you exactly what to say.
Right. But they also stress that while having those tools is great, you can't forget about good old-fashioned networking.
Because even with all this tech, those connections still really matter.
They do. The guide encourages you to attend industry events, join organizations, connect on LinkedIn, basically put yourself out there and build those relationships with people.
It's like they say, your network is your net worth.
Exactly.
But even with all the preparation in the world, breaking into this industry is still really tough.
It's so competitive.
What can aspiring journalists actually do to stand out and land a job?
Well, RoleCatcher has this really cool feature called Beat the Automated Recruiter.
Beat the automated recruiter. Okay, tell me more. That sounds intense.
So a lot of companies now use these applicant tracking systems, or ATS, to scan resumes, for specific keywords.
Oh, yeah. They're like the gatekeepers of the job market.
Exactly. They decide whether a human even looks at your application or not.
It's scary, really.
So RoleCatcher's AI, it swoops in and analyzes those job descriptions to identify what those keywords are,
Oh, wow.
and then helps tailor your resume to actually match what those systems are looking for.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the ATS.
Exactly. And by optimizing your application this way, you're increasing your chances of actually making it past that initial screening and getting in front of a real person.
That's incredible.
It's like having a secret handshake to get into the club.
So it's not even just about your skills anymore.
It's not just about what you know. Yeah,
It's about speaking the language of the algorithm.
that's a good way to put it.
This is all so insightful. Okay, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think we need to take a step back for a second
Okay.
and consider the bigger picture here. What does a typical career path in entertainment journalism even look like? Is it like climbing a ladder? Do you forge your own path? What are the options?
It's definitely not a straight ladder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Entertainment journalism is so diverse.
Yeah,
There's so many different ways you can go with it.
that's true.
It's more like choosing your own adventure, really.
I like that. Choose your own adventure in the world of entertainment. So what are some of the paths? Where could someone's love for movies or music actually lead them?
Well, you've got your film critics, of course. They're like the master chefs of cinema, dissecting a film's themes, cultural impact, even debating the merits of practical effects versus CGI.
Oh, I bet those debates can get pretty heated.
Oh, absolutely. And then you've got your music journalists, the ones who live and breathe everything from like obscure indie bands to global pop sensations.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
For backstage at Coachella, they're digging through vinyl bins, always on the hunt for the next big sound.
It's like they have their fingers on the pulse of the music scene. What about the theater world? Is there a place for entertainment journalists on Broadway?
Oh, totally. Theater critics, they're like the guardians of the stage,
Yeah.
the ones who can capture the magic of a live performance and actually put it into words.
It's a tough job.
It's essential for keeping the theater world alive and thriving.
It seems like every corner of the entertainment industry needs talented storytellers.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And the great thing is you don't have to limit yourself to just one area.
Right.
You can have your hands in a lot of pots.
Right. So you could be writing about the latest Marvel movie one day
Yes,
and then interviewing a Tony Award-winning playwright the next.
exactly. It's about finding your niche, but being open to exploring new avenues and really expanding your horizons.
That's what I love about this field. It's constantly evolving.
Always.
There's always something new to discover,
For sure.
a new story to tell. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the skills and the practicalities, but what about the personal qualities? What makes a great entertainment journalist? What sets someone apart?
That's a great question. Because it's not just about having that perfect resume, it's about having that right mindset. Passion is a huge one. It's crucial.
Yeah.
This isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's about living and breathing this world.
So you're saying it's that drive, that love for whether it's film or music or theater or whatever your niche may be, it's what fuels your work?
You also need resilience.
Okay.
Because this industry is full of rejection, especially when you're first starting out.
So you're telling me I need to have thick skin?
You got to have thick skin. You have to be able to bounce back from those setbacks, learn from your mistakes, and keep pushing forward.
So it's like no matter what, you just keep going.
You keep going. Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a field that's always changing, adaptability is key.
That's true.
You have to embrace those new technologies, be open to those new platforms, new formats, never stop learning and evolving.
It's like riding a wave.
It really is.
You got to adapt or you get,
You wipe out.
wiped out.
Exactly. And, amid all the hustle and adaptability, there's one quality that can't be overstated: the ability to connect with people.
That makes sense. You're constantly interacting with people, whether it's interviewing a celebrity, building those relationships with, publicists, or even just engaging with your audience.
It's so true. Those connections, they make all the difference.
Yeah.
You have to be a good listener, ask thoughtful questions, show genuine interest in what those people have to say.
It's about those relationships, building something based on trust and mutual respect.
Yes, 100%. And speaking of which, let's talk about the art of the interview for a second.
Okay.
It's a cornerstone of this job, but it's definitely a skill that takes practice and finesse.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm always so fascinated by those interviews where you can tell the journalist has really done their homework. They're not just going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's like a dance.
It is.
This balance between, steering the conversation, but also letting it flow naturally.
100%. And it all starts with that preparation, right? You
Mhm.
need to research the person that you're interviewing. Don't just rely on, the publicist's press release.
Right.
Dig deeper. Find those interesting anecdotes, those unexpected details that'll make it stand out.
So it's about crafting those questions that go beyond the surface level, that spark an actual conversation, right?
Exactly. And once you're in that room, listen.
Yeah.
Really listen to what the person is saying. Don't be so focused on your next question that you're not present.
It's hard,
It is.
especially if you're face to face with someone that, you admire. It's easy to get caught up in the moment.
It happens to all of us. But the key is finding that balance of being prepared, but also adaptable.
Yeah.
Be open to those tangents, those moments where the conversation takes you somewhere unexpected, because that's usually where those interesting insights are.
It's trusting your gut,
Yes.
being in the moment, letting it unfold naturally. What about those more challenging interviews, though, when the subject maybe isn't as, forthcoming?
Well, that's where your skills as a journalist really come in.
Okay.
You got to be persistent, but not aggressive. Ask those probing questions without being disrespectful. Sometimes silence is your best friend in those situations.
You mean being comfortable with those pauses?
Yes.
Those moments of reflection?
100%, because sometimes those moments, those silences, can lead to the most revealing answers.
It's true.
It can be really powerful.
It's like you're creating a space for, vulnerability and honesty.
Exactly. And remember, a good interview is a two-way street. You can share your insights too, engage in a genuine conversation. People can always tell when you're generally interested in what they have to say.
It's like you're building that rapport, that connection that goes beyond the whole interviewer-subject dynamic.
You got it, 100%.
Mm.
And you can have the most incredible interview in the world, but if you can't translate that into a captivating story on the page...
Right. It's like having all those gems,
Exactly.
but not knowing how to cut them and polish them to show their brilliance.
That's a great analogy. because storytelling is at the heart of it all.
So how do you take those gems, that raw material, and make it into something that people want to read, that stays with them?
Well, you need a really strong hook,
Mm.
something that grabs their attention right away.
Okay.
Start with a compelling anecdote, a provocative question, even a surprising statistic. Something that makes them want to keep reading.
It's like you need to pique their curiosity.
Exactly. And once you have their attention, keep them engaged. Vivid language, good pacing, a narrative that just flows.
No, don't tell.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to, let your personality come through.
Yeah.
Because your unique voice, your perspective is what is going to make your writing stand out.
So it's finding that balance again, right?
It always is.
Being informative, being engaging. You want them to learn something, but you want them to enjoy it too.
100%. And don't be afraid to experiment with different formats, different styles.
Okay.
Try a listicle, a personal essay, even a longer investigative piece. Find what works for you and for the story that you're trying to tell.
So push the boundaries, break the mold.
Exactly.
Challenge those conventions.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room here, the business side of things.
Right.
We talked about the passion, the craft, the art of the interview, but at the end of the day, it's still a business.
It is.
So it's great to love storytelling, but you got to be realistic about the financial side of this career path too.
Oh, for sure. Because the reality is it's tough, especially when you're first starting out. The competition's fierce, the pay isn't always great, and freelance income can be really unpredictable. You have to be prepared to hustle.
What does that look like, hustle, in the world of entertainment journalism?
So it means being willing to take on multiple gigs, doing some freelance writing on the side, maybe even working, part-time jobs while you're building up your portfolio.
So it's like really putting in the work.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
You're grinding it out, but you're going after your dreams.
And you're never giving up.
Never give up. And be smart, about managing your finances, track your income and your expenses, save for those lean months, and don't be afraid to negotiate your rates.
Because you're worth it.
You are worth it, your work is valuable, and you deserve to be compensated fairly for your time and your expertise.
That's such an important point, especially in a field where I feel like it's easy to get, swept up in the excitement of it all
It is.
and undervalue your work.
Totally. And as you get more experience and build your reputation, you'll be in a better position to command those higher rates.
That makes sense.
Negotiate those more favorable contracts.
So play the long game.
Play the long game.
Stay true to your worth.
Exactly.
Know that, you're only going to become more valuable.
100%.
Okay, we've talked about the individual side of being an entertainment journalist.
Right.
But what about the bigger picture? What role does this field play in, shaping the world around us, shaping culture?
Oh, it's a great question because while it might seem like entertainment journalism is all about, covering the latest gossip or reviewing movies, it actually has a much more profound impact
I agree.
than people realize.
Because entertainment has this power, right?
It does.
It shapes our perception, it influences our opinions, even challenges our beliefs sometimes.
Exactly. And it's our job to be mindful of that. We're not just reporting on entertainment. We are shaping the narrative around it.
So we have that responsibility to be objective,
100%.
present a balanced perspective,
Totally.
avoid, perpetuating stereotypes or bias.
For sure, use your platform to amplify voices, challenge the status quo, and really promote diversity and inclusion.
It's about making a difference.
It is.
Starting conversations, right?
Yes.
And hopefully creating a more just and equitable world.
100%. And that's a powerful thing.
It is. Speaking of powerful things, technology,
Right.
it's changing everything about entertainment
Transforming the industry.
as we know it.
As we know it.
And it's creating all these new opportunities for entertainment journalists
Yes.
to connect with audiences
Yes,
and
so-
tell stories
Tell those stories.
in totally new ways.
In new ways.
It's exciting.
Huh.
What are some of the most interesting trends that you're seeing kind of pop up?
One of the biggest game changers is the rise of all these streaming services,
Yeah.
right? We're moving away from that traditional television model and into a world where content is available wherever you want it, wherever you want it.
It's true.
It's like having a library of movies, shows, documentaries, all at your fingertips.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And for us, it means expanding our horizons beyond just film and TV criticism.
So it's not just about reviewing the latest blockbuster anymore. It's
Yeah.
about this whole world of content.
It's understanding streaming,
Yeah.
diving deep into that world, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus,
All of them.
analyzing everything, identifying those
It's
trends.
engaging with the audience.
Yeah. And they're consuming entertainment in a totally different way now, too.
It's true.
It's a really exciting time. And then there's, of course, the rise of VR and AR.
Oh, yeah. Virtual reality, augmented reality, that's changing how we experience things, too.
These immersive technologies are really changing how we experience entertainment.
It's wild. It's like you can step inside your favorite movie or video game.
Exactly. And that opens up a whole world of possibilities for storytelling.
That's true. It's like those 360 videos, right?
Yeah.
They transport you somewhere else.
This is the future of entertainment.
It's exciting.
It's up to us to figure out how to use those technologies to tell those stories in new ways.
I think it's an exciting time to be at the forefront of this whole, evolving landscape.
It is.
But I imagine it can also be really overwhelming
And for sure.
for people just starting out.
Especially then.
There's just so much to learn.
So much. Keep up with.
Constantly.
Yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
It's a competitive field, and it can be tough, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
The key is to be persistent, resourceful, and just be passionate.
So for those out there who are feeling inspired, ready to take the plunge,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them? What do you wish you knew when you were starting out?
I would say start writing.
Just start writing.
Just write about the things you love, whether it's movies that move you, music that makes you want to dance, the shows that you binge.
Find your voice, Riff.
Find your voice, develop your style, hone your craft.
Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Don't be afraid to experiment with those different formats. Try reviews, interviews, personal essays, anything that speaks to you.
And start building a portfolio.
Build that portfolio, yes.
Right.
It's your calling card. It's your first impression. So make sure it's well organized, easy to read, highlights those skills.
Showcase what makes you, you.
Exactly. And while you're working on your craft, don't underestimate the power of networking.
Because
Go to those industry events, connect with people online, reach out to journalists that you admire for informational interviews, because those small interactions can really lead to amazing opportunities.
it's all about putting yourself out there. Just
Yeah.
building those relationships.
And be patient,
Oh,
because success in this industry, it takes time.
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
100%. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate those small victories. Learn from your mistakes. And just don't give up.
Don't give up on your dreams.
Don't give up on those dreams.
That's fantastic advice. It's a good reminder that while the path might be challenging, it's also incredibly rewarding.
It is.
And with passion, persistence, and maybe a little bit of luck, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are wrapping up our deep dive here into the world of entertainment journalism. And I don't know about you, but my notepad is like overflowing
I know, all right.
with all these insights.
So much good stuff.
We've covered it all, interview skills, the business side of things, but I think at the heart of it all, it always comes back to this idea of storytelling.
It always does.
So what speaks to you most about, entertainment journalism as storytelling?
Well, it's easy to think of it as just reporting on the latest celebrity news or doing those blockbuster reviews. But it really is so much more than that, right? We're not just kind of spitting out information. We're crafting narratives that connect with people on a personal level. A great entertainment piece can make you laugh. It can challenge what you think, even your values. We have a responsibility to, approach our work with integrity.
Yeah.
Consider the impact our words actually have on other people.
It's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
And I feel like we definitely see that play out in this field, especially when you think about some of the ethical dilemmas.
Oh, absolutely. Take privacy, for example. Where's that line between reporting on someone's life and respecting that they deserve a private life too? It's definitely a tightrope walk, especially today.
It's so true, especially now with social media and instant news.
Every day there's a new headline about a celebrity privacy scandal or something.
Right. How do you navigate that? Are there specific, questions you ask yourself when you have to make a tough call?
For me, it always comes back to, is this going to hurt someone? Is this information important enough to share?
Okay.
Will it help people understand something or hold someone accountable for something? Or am I just doing it for clicks?
Yeah.
Those are the questions that keep me up at night.
It's like you said, that balance
It's tough.
between, the public's right to know and an individual's right to privacy.
And it's different every time.
It constantly changes.
It does. And it's not even just about, their privacy. It's also about power.
That's true.
We have access to powerful people, celebrities, executives.
We have to use that carefully.
It's true.
Right.
We have a responsibility to speak truth to power, challenge the status quo, and make sure we're amplifying those voices that don't always get heard.
It's about asking the tough questions,
Yeah,
even if it's uncomfortable sometimes.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, our integrity is what matters most.
It's about having the courage to, stand up for what you believe is right.
100%.
Okay, before we wrap things up here, I want to pick your brain one last time.
Okay.
What advice do you wish you'd gotten when you were first starting out as an entertainment journalist?
I think the biggest thing is just be yourself. Be authentically, unapologetically you. There's always going to be someone trying to, follow that latest trend or copy someone's style. But what makes you unique? Your passions, your quirks, your perspective, that's your greatest asset.
It's what makes you stand out.
Embrace it. Let it shine through in your writing. And never underestimate those genuine connections you make.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to those events, talk to people, really listen to what they have to say. Those small conversations can turn into something amazing.
It's about putting yourself out there.
It is, and be patient.
Oh, yeah.
Success in this industry, it doesn't happen overnight.
It takes time.
It's a journey, not a destination. Keep writing, keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop believing in how powerful stories can be.
Well said. And on that note, that's a wrap for this deep dive into the world of entertainment journalism. Hopefully you walked away with some, new insights, practical advice, and maybe even a little bit of inspiration.
Definitely.
Remember, the world needs great storytellers, so go out there, find your voice, and tell your story.
Your story.